Hi, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how we can use the Illustrator program to grade a skirt pattern that's full size. There are instructions written up in the file that talk about how the file has been set up to assist you with doing this, but essentially we've got different sizes on different layers and we'll be using our keyboard shortcuts to be able to move segments of the pattern over. Before you're able to grade a pattern, you obviously need to start off with your grade plan as your reference. Now, whether you want to take a screenshot of this or whether you want to have it printed out nearby whilst you're working on this. So I'll just quickly do a screenshot of this just so I've got it there. I do know them off by heart, but just as a backup. So now if I go to my next artboard here, which is that, I can come across here and paste this nearby so I can use it as a reference. But essentially, when you look at your layers panel, you've got the different sizes on different layers, and we'll hide them and unhide them as we need to. So we have the base size 10 on a locked layer there so we can see it, and then size 12 and 8 and 14 will have segments of the pattern pieces on there. So we need to open up our preferences, so Control K to open up our preferences, and we'll set the keyboard increments. They'll change depending on what it is that we're grading. And because we know that all of these points will be grading -6 in the X, I'm going to make that 6 mil for now. So you can zoom in on the various parts of this. So I know that this point is -6 in the X direction and 0 in the Y. So it's only going to move that way. Now, this little section here is also -6, as are these others. So you can choose to do them one point at a time or multiple points. But we know that when we refer to our grade plan, these points here are going to be -6 and 3 in the Y. So we can change our keyboard increment to 3 mil now, 3 mil, and now these will move up by 3 mil. We know that this section here is -6 and 6 mil, so I can, because it's set on 3, I can just hit that twice, and now these have moved -60, -63, -66. So we know that these all move 12.5 in the Y, so Control K, 12.5, and I can move that one up and that one up as well. And then this one is also Y, but in the X value, it's 3. So 3 and 12.5, and this one's 3 and 0. So now that we've moved all the points that we needed to, we need to now connect the dots. So we can connect them lots of different ways, but I'm going to use the pen tool. And at the moment, I'm going to connect everything with a straight line. So I'm going to click that one and join it there. Click that one and join it there. And we know that that one, so I'm just using my space bar to navigate across here. And I keep going back to the pen tool to activate it. Okay, so now that we've made the main connections, anything that's a straight line is fine. We don't have to adjust it, but obviously anywhere where we've got these curved sections, we're going to have to tweak the shaping a little bit. So I might tear off the pen tool here and get rid of these excess points that we have. Now that one's obviously must have a stray point here somewhere, which is why it hasn't connected. There we go. Apologies for that. And I'm going to average and join that. So as you are all learning Illustrator in your other class, you're utilizing those skills as well. And I can use the Convert Anchor Point tool to click up here and eyeball this and try and get it a reasonable amount, or a reasonable shape, I should say. We can also click on the handlebars and adjust accordingly. And you're doing it as best as you can, knowing that this isn't designed for this, but these are relatively straightish. They may have a slight curve, but that's how I would do the size 12 for the back there. Once you're happy with that, what you can do is you can lock that layer, and if you want to now, you can unhide size 8, or we'll unhide, we might do size 14, and make sure to unlock it so that we can use the different sections. And what you're doing now is you will be doubling the value. So instead of moving -6 and 0, we'll be moving -12 and 0. -6 and 3 will be moving -12 and 6. So you're doubling the amounts that you did when you were grading the size 12. So I'll zoom in here into this section here and making sure I'm on the size 14 layer. My keyboard increments I can make 12, and I'm going to move all of these across the 12, or I could have left it at 6 and just doubled the amount of times I clicked my keyboard. So whichever way works for you and makes more sense for you. Now I know that this should be moving up by 3 per size. So if I double it, it's 6 mil. So we know that that's moving up by 6 mil. And this one will be moving up by 12 mil. So it's moving up twice. So you should see that once you line up the points, they all form a nice sort of pattern there. If something was out of line, you'd notice it very quickly. So we know that this should be 25 mil. So you'll see that your keyboard increments will be changing constantly. And that one's moving there, and I know that it's 6 mil, which is double the 3, and 6 mil, which is double the 3. So essentially we'd keep going, and with the smaller size we're going the opposite value. So instead of -6 and 0, we'd be moving +6 and 0. So you will do that all the way to completion. Hopefully that all makes sense. Thank you.